sites found on the internet. Before we begin, I want to thank you for watching. Make yourself comfortable, and we'll get started. 1980 Washington State. A man named Joseph Duncan steals a gun from his neighbor and uses it to kidnap a 14-year-old teenager whom he forcibly kept in the basement of his house for several days, where he beat and raped him. But one day the boy managed to free himself and report everything to the police. Joseph Duncan was sentenced to 20 years in prison. In 1994, he was released early for good behavior, just as the internet was booming and he figured it out pretty quickly. In 2004, he decided to start his own blog, fifthnail.blogspot.com. A reference to Jesus, who was stabbed with 4 nails and the 5th was meant to be driven into his heart, but it was stolen and hidden to save Jesus. This concept was used to explain his point of view about certain things. For example, why pedophilia is evil. For the first few days Duncan talked to himself, he used this block as his personal diary. He tried to convince himself that he was actually a good person. Between January 2004 and June of that year, all of his entries were just about dreams, skiing, and his opinion on the harsh treatment of sex offenders. However, on July 9th, 2004, Duncan posted a message titled "We Start Again." In it, he said he got a call from an investigator. He was suspected of some crime, but the investigator didn't say what happened specifically. Duncan's posts turned into complete nonsense. This continued until April 2005, when he appeared in court for the boy's reckoning. He was granted $15,000 bail. After that, he published a post where he talked about his accusation. He claimed that he is not a psychopath, and people close to him know that he would never do such a thing. According to him, he did what he had to do. After that, he published 2 more posts where he wrote about his body being controlled by demons and his alter ego named Boogeyman. His last words on this blog read, "I hope to finish this diary before I die or surrender to the police. I think it's right to be sure right now. The only thing I'm sure of is that I'm not sure of anything." Just a day after that message, Duncan broke into some family's home and killed 3 people and kidnapped 2 children. Only a few weeks later, he was seen with only 1 kidnapped child, after which he was arrested. The remains of the other missing child were found in the following days. Duncan spent nearly 20 years in prison, after which he died of a brain tumor. For many people today, live streaming has become an integral part of their lives. Live streaming, unlike video, allows the viewer to feel more involved. The very first live broadcasts appeared on TV. Now we are talking about a live streaming site that started its work in 2003. This site broadcasts live from inside a coffin, where we can watch a person decompose after death. Unfortunately or fortunately, this site is no longer available, but we can still see what it looked like from the web archive. If you're a fan of content like mine, you've probably heard of this site. It's an archive of web pages saved in case the original sites are deleted. The first thing that greets us as being dead and buried doesn't mean you can't have friends. After that, we see some brief information about the site. Welcome to Cimarron.com. Welcome to Cimarron.com. This site is dedicated to all who have gone before us. 2 months ago, we attached the world's first live coffin cams to the interior of our subject's casket. This was done after friends and family had seen the deceased for the last time. We then traveled over 2,000 miles with the casket to the family's chosen burial place, undisclosed to protect gravesite. Having arrived at the graveyard, a small ceremony was held, after which the final preparations were made to our transmitting hardware and lighting units. All went according to plan at first, and the casket was lowered just after lunchtime, April 15th, 2003. Cam tests were carried out at the site, and the grave was sealed. We then set off back to our office in the heart of Seattle. From our base in Seattle, we should have been able to control the lighting and refresh rate of the camera equipment. Unfortunately, we had problems from the start. Lighting and mounting issues meant that the cam was not only almost impossible to see, but also the zoom malfunctioned. We trust that the new site will be more suitable. We hope you find Cimarron.com a fascinating place to visit over the coming months. We will be able to view the new cam for many years. Several modifications have been made to this latest cam, and the casket itself, whilst it is still buried 6 feet under, the staging area of this unit suits our technical requirements far better. Thanks for stopping by. Should you wish to discuss plans for your own coffin cam for family and friends, please contact us for pricing details. But I didn't show the most interesting part. On the website, the footage from this live broadcast was saved. When I decided to save the footage, I realized that it's just a GIF, and no live broadcast really exists. It's a fake. No wonder, it's unlikely that a dead woman would have skinned that shade, and she doesn't look like a corpse. But there are still questions about this site. For example, who is this woman? There is absolutely no information about her on the internet. And the second question is, what is the point of this site? I cannot give an answer to these questions. Despite the fact that the live broadcast is fake, there is still something strange and frightening about this site.